Well, moving on, just 2 days before Thanksgiving, former US President Donald Trump held a private dinner at his Mar-a-Lago residence. He hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes and rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. It was supposed to be an uneventful dinner, but ended up being a political nightmare for the former US president. Trump's willingness to associate with figures who have repeatedly spread anti-Semitic and white supremacist tropes has not gone unnoticed by the Republican Party. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell took aim at Trump over his decision to host Ye and Fuentes. He said that there was no room in the Republican Party for anti-Semitism or white supremacy.
First, let me just say that there is no room in the Republican Party for anti-Semitism or white supremacy. And anyone meeting with people advocating that point of view, in my judgment, are highly unlikely to ever be elected President of the United States.
McConnell's comments were followed by a growing chorus of GOP leaders who criticised Trump for having dinner with the two men.
You know, I think it's disgusting to invite people like that to meet with a former president of the United States. I think it's been clear that there's no bottom to the degree to which President Trump will degrade himself and the nation.
Well, I think he'd make better choices, obviously. Meet with a lot of people that help make the country move forward, and I'm sure he's addressed that, you know, with people around him. I haven't heard his comments on it, but I'm sure he'll come out with some comments.
Fuentes is a far-right activist who led his online platform and used it to push anti-Semitic and white nationalist rhetoric, while Ye has made his own series of anti-Semitic comments. The White House also joined some Republicans in criticising Trump. The White House press secretary said that there was no place in American society for vile forces such as racism, bigotry and anti-Semitism.
This administration, this president totally rejects bigotry, racism, anti-Semitism, and there is just no place for these types of vile forces in our society, and this is something that we are going to continue to deny, including Holocaust deniers.
Well, we're going to return now to our correspondent in New York City, Susan Turani. Susan, this dinner, it's certainly making considerable waves for President Trump. And I guess we're seeing more and more Republicans coming out against the former president. Does this present a shift in the party's thinking about Trump?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The Republicans that did make comments, they had a platform and a podium. They were behind the podium. Yesterday, there were a series of events. The rail strike issue, there was a meeting between President Biden and Republican leaders. And then I think there was a soundbite by Mitt Romney. The former vice president had a book tour. So, you know, these are Republicans that had platforms and they were asked about it. And of course, rightly so, they made comments about it. But President Trump came out and he said that he didn't know this individual. One can argue that he shouldn't have had dinner with Kanye in the first place, but he said he didn't know this individual and he didn't know that he was having dinner with him. But if you look at the majority of the Republican Party, you really don't see this kind of all-out condemnation, you know, coming out with a singular voice and really making such a big deal out of this. And that's not because that they support this meeting in any way or support this individual, Nick Fuentes, because, you know, despite the fact that perhaps some media outlets want to make him like a known figure, a lot of people don't know who he is. And the fact that Trump said that he doesn't know who he is, that's believable. whether or not it should have been, that dinner should have been vetted, that's another story. But I think the reason that it's not getting that kind of outcry is, I think we talked about this yesterday as well, is because incidents like these continue to happen with Donald Trump, and it's like water on a duck's back. It's one sort of incident after the other, and it becomes like a tabloid incident, and the story just moves forward, and the media moves to another story. So I just don't think that it merited that much of an attention, and that's why we didn't hear that big of an outcry really from the Republican Party. I don't think that this is going to pose a huge shift, in people's thinking ultimately. But I think that for the Republicans that did have a platform and a podium, rightly so, they came out and condemned it.
Thank you, Susan, for your time with us today. That was Susan Tarani joining us live from New York City.